Let's start out with a brief discussion of acids and bases. Acids have a sour taste. They are electrolytes that conduct electricity. Their pH is below 7. They turn blue litmus paper red. Acids neutralize bases. Bases have a bitter taste. They are electrolytes. Their pH is greater than 7 and they turn red litmus paper blue. Bases neutralize acids. Acids and bases play major roles in the functions of the human body. Amino acids are used to build the proteins that serve as major building blocks in the construction of the body. Major components of the DNA that define the very structure and functions of the human body are formed from organic bases. Life as we know it would be impossible without the contributions and influences rendered by various types of acids and bases. Water at 25 degrees centigrade has a small percentage of its molecules reacting to form hydronium ions and hydroxide ions because one of the hydrogen protons in some water molecules is transferred to other water molecules. The hydronium molecule develops a positive charge because of the additional hydrogen proton, and the OH molecule develops a negative charge because it lost a positive hydrogen proton. A state of equilibrium is established where some of the hydronium and hydroxide molecules react to recreate two water molecules, and at 25 degrees centigrade, the concentration of hydronium and hydroxide molecules is 10 to the minus 7 molars. Remember, a molar is 6.02 times 10 to the 23 molecules of hydronium or hydroxide, and 6.02 times 10 to the 23rd is Avogadro's famous number of how many particles there are in a mole. pH is a unit of measurement used to indicate the concentration of hydrogen ions. The actual concentration of hydrogen ions in water, that is at equilibrium, at 25 degrees centigrade, is 10 to the minus 7 molars. The formula for pH is shown here. Note that it is common practice to indicate concentrations of ions and molecules by enclosing their formulas in square brackets. Since the negative log of 10 to the minus 7 equals 7, the pH of water at equilibrium at 25 degrees centigrade is 7 and considered to be neutral. pH values less than 7 are considered to be acidic, and those greater than 7 are basic or alkaline. The pH scale was defined since the concentration of hydrogen ions can vary over a very wide range, and it is much simpler to refer to values in this range as pH values than to use the actual values. A popular dictionary explains that the term pH comes from the phrase power of hydrogen. A biology textbook states that this term comes from the potential of hydrogen. It's not clear whether anybody really knows where this term comes from. There are three definitions of acids: Arrhenius, Brownsted-Lowery, and Lewis. Arrhenius. The simplest theory of acids is limited to aqueous solutions. An Arrhenius acid is a substance that increases hydrogen ion concentration when placed in water. An Arrhenius base is a substance that increases hydroxide ions when placed in water. The H plus ion in an aqueous solution actually rides on an H2O molecule. It forms a hydronium ion, H3O, but it is often simplified to H+. Hydrochloric acid is a strong acid where the reaction only goes one way, and all of the HCl will dissociate into hydrogen ions and chlorine ions. Hydrofluoric acid is a weak acid where H and F are produced, but some of these recombine to undo the effects and form HF molecules until an equilibrium is reached where the process stops. The final concentration of HF, H, and F ions is determined by the equilibrium constant Ka of the acid HF. A Arrhenius base is a substance that increases hydroxide ions when placed in water. Sodium hydroxide is a strong base where the reaction only goes one way and all of the sodium hydroxide will dissociate into sodium and hydroxide ions. Ammonia hydroxide is a weak base where the reaction goes both ways at equilibrium, so ammonium and hydroxide ions replace some of the ammonium hydroxide molecules that had dissociated into the ions. When an acid and base like hydrogen chloride and sodium hydroxide combine, they neutralize each other to form a salt, sodium chloride, and water. According to the Brownsted-Lowery theory, an acid is a substance that donates a hydrogen ion, and a base is a substance that accepts a hydrogen ion. Unlike the Arrhenius definition, water is not required. When hydrofluoric acid is placed in water, the HF on the left of the reaction will donate its hydrogen proton to the water to form the fluoride and hydronium ions on the right of this equation. As this happens, some of the new hydronium ions on the right donate their excess protons to the fluoride ions to replace a portion of the molecules on the left that had dissociated to form the ions on the right. This continues until equilibrium is established. The HF molecule donates a proton to the water molecule, and the hydronium ion donates a proton to the F ion, so the HF molecule and the hydronium ion are both acids, with the hydronium ion called the conjugate acid. The water and fluorine ion that accepts the protons are bases, with the fluorine ion called the conjugate base. The Lewis theory of acids and bases is the most general definition, as opposed to the Arrhenius definition, which requires water and an increase in hydrogen ion concentration, and the Brownsted-Lowery definition requires proton movement. A Lewis acid is an electron pair acceptor, while the base is an electron pair donor. In the reaction shown here, the boron atom at the left of the reaction hasn't completed its octet and is an electron pair acceptor, or acid. It is called an electrophile. The nitrogen atom has an unpaired electron pair and is an electron donor, or base, which is called a nucleophile. The term electrophile means electron lover. The term nucleophile means nucleus or proton lover. When a nucleophile and electrophile react, they form a product that joins the two with a coordinate bond. Hi friends, this concludes the ShepNotes Introduction to Acids and Bases. Watch for the next ShepNotes edition, which will provide information and intuition on another important subject.